The Good Ride, making mediocre matter one good setup at a time.
All right, so here we are looking at the Burton Ion step-on boot. And it's a really, I mean, I was trying the ruler and I had Ion NB because as you can see the difference here, I mean, you're stepping up massively in price. You still have the same Ion. They've just added some features to it. And I mean, whoa. And you know, with this, you're dealing with bare bones. You've got no support here, and I kind of feel this folding. This is my second time on these, and I'm kind of starting to lose interest after that first thing because there are some shortcomings with these rulers, although they are pretty great for people who want quick release. But moving forward to the Ions, you have that same kind of, you know, the same Ion stuff going on. You got a nice rubber sole. You've got EST optimized sole, so there's not a lot of shock absorption going on, but it's compensated for with the binding because you do have good shock absorption there. The biggest thing is you've got speed lace, upper and lower separation, and then you have this ankle strap. But it feels like, doesn't it kind of feel like the ankle strap isn't an ankle strap on a binding, but a third lacing?
Yes, exactly.
And that's the weird thing, I think, for us, is you would think this would kind of act like a binding strap, but it doesn't. And it kind of, in a little way, cancels out the upper and lower of the lacing.
You feel the whole boot tighten with this because it's, you know, going all the way through, or at least back to this panel here. So
and
it definitely doesn't feel like a binding strap at all.
No, but it does do a good job at, like, where this feels like it folds, this doesn't feel like it folds.
Right.
And it does do a good job at kind of just increasing support. And that's good, but gosh, you know, it's like I'm torn with these because people who love, there's a lot of compromise for quick release and for this response. But for the first time with these quick release bindings, you're actually getting more response than you would from any other binding boot combo in Burton's line. I say if you take out the X-Base or the Genesis X and the Driver X, I don't think you're gonna get as much response as you would with the Ion on the quick release binding.
I agree.
You know, because it's attached to that high back. So normally, this is your boot, this is the high back. Normally your boot leans forward a little bit on that toe side turn. Now it's just attached so you have leverage each way. It's very symmetrical response. And I really like that. So I think there's a huge advantage for people either looking for more response or looking for quick release or both. You finally get them both. You're not sacrificing one for the other, but you are sacrificing with little things like adjustability. You know what I mean? This kind of overlaps your upper and lower a little bit, way more than it does when you adjust upper and lower and you have an ankle strap from the binding. It's just such a tight, it feels like a third adjustability section. You know what I mean? But I mean, the boots are comfortable. I mean, if you like Burton, you're gonna be with these. There's a little more pinching right here because it's not as roomy as a regular boot. So if you run a little wide, that might be an issue, but Burton's run pretty wide. But if you're kind of getting up into the EE, you might want to maybe skip these and go back to just regular Burton Ions. Don't talk about boot sizes.
Boob sizes.
Boob sizes. Oh yes, I get. Peter, always funny from behind or in front of the camera. But anyways, and you know, you got this. Let me see. Can we? I don't know if we can do this. Whoa!
There you go.
Dude.
I'll be right back, guys.
No, you have some adjustability here, I believe, and you can adjust with the bindings for snow and
Can't
like
really see
snow
that
on the
from
base.
here.
Okay,
Gotta get
excellent
closer.
flexibility, Grant.
Can you see the?
Yeah, there we go.
And that just slides up if you want to stiffen up.
I
if you wanna
believe
change
so.
the-
I think it has a screw mount here where you can slightly dial it out. But Grant, what did you think of these guys?
Yeah, response was crazy. Stiffness of this boot, again, not really a fair comparison because it's not a step in, but I'd say it's right up there with the Driver X, which I've used in the past. Really stiff boot, super responsive. Comfort was okay. Coming from like the SLX, which I find is like the most comfortable boot for me that I've tried so far. Shock absorption I thought was fine.
No big deal.
No big deal.
Shock absorption I thought was actually like good. I like
They're
the,
only $650.
I thought they were soft.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, as far as the shock absorption, it was cushy. I thought that was
That's why Grant's here with the good ride. He's a serious gear whore.
that was that was good. Yeah, I'd like to spend more time on them and really get a strong opinion whether I like or dislike them.
But
yeah,
isn't that
they're fun.
response mind-blowing?
Response is amazing, especially, I mean, I'm just assuming this is way stiffer than the Photon or the Ruler.
It is.
So, yeah, and I haven't used the Ruler, so I can't say, but yeah, I mean, this thing is super responsive. I just sacrificed a lot of comfort, I felt like, in the 4 runs or whatever we did.
Yeah,
So,
and I tried these in 10, which isn't my size and not a good fit for me because I'm a 9. But after trying the Rulers in 8, which was a nightmare, finally in my size, pretty good, I found that these are not quite right for me. You have to over crank and they fold too much. These might be too much response for me. I kind of feel they are. And I think the Photons might be a nice middle ground because they do have that ankle strap, they have that extra support. So you don't feel that folding issue on your toe side turn like you kind of do. But I really do think for the first time, this is a very recommendable quick release system. It's so easy in and out. And I don't really feel like, I feel like you're actually gaining response and getting the advantage of quick release. Yet you're losing a lot of adjustability and a lot of the feel that you normally have with traditional Burton boots. So it's definitely a departure from the past.
Talk about that time where I got off the chairlift.
Oh, Peter we're going to talk about that next, but
Okay, never mind.
but Peter just got off the chairlift and just snapped in. Sometimes it takes a little bit to get them to all snap in. The one thing I would not recommend these boots for is really aggressive, go big kind of riders. Like if you're dropping cliffs and you're hitting the kicker park and you're going big and you're charging, I don't know if these would be good for you. If you're like me, you're old, you're broken, you like going out, you like turning, you like cruising the mountain, you occasionally get a little air here and there, you like to butter, you're gonna be fine with these. But if you go big and if you're lapping the park, I don't think this is ideal. And I don't really think you need that kind of response there either. I think it could make a softer, easier turning board feel twitchy because it's just overpowering it, you know? It's so they're so responsive. So there you have it. That's Burton Ion. Anything else you want to add, Grant? Or
no, I like them. Want to spend some more time on them. Definitely try something slightly softer so I can get a better opinion, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's mind-blowing when you think of it in terms of quick release, but it's not really mind-blowing in terms of the whole spectrum. You know what I mean?
Right. It's
The
not
whole
that
spectrum
much
of
different.
variety.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just like for people who want a lot of response.
Would be a great option for someone who could have a disability or for whatever reason had a
Yeah.
hard time binding in with traditional straps or flexibility, whatever the case may be. This could be a total game changer. So, I mean, that's great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you have it.